Hello and welcome. My name is Chris Cann with Mining Journal, and with me I have Bob Wilt, Chief Executive of Saudi Arabia's mining champion, Maadens. This is the second interview of a two-part series that we're doing with Bob. And in this one, we're going to look at Maadens' positioning for growth as a key corporate driver of building a mineral super region with Saudi Arabia at the center. Hi, Bob. Welcome back.
Thanks, Chris.
Just to set the scene for those new to Saudi Arabia's mineral development plans, we should probably point out that the super region essentially starts with a collection of states down at Africa's southernmost tip in South Africa, and then all the way up through Africa, and then into the Middle East, and then throughout Central Asia. But Bob, first of all, I wanted to ask how Maadens is collaborating with other large mining groups in Saudi Arabia to increase domestic production. I know we slightly touched on that in our first interview.
Yeah, but you know, the model that we have used to grow over the last decade or so is very similar to what Aramco did from the 1930s on, which was partner with Western expertise. So when we developed the phosphate industry, we partnered with Mosaic from the US. When we developed the aluminum industry, we partnered with Alcoa. We've got a joint venture in our copper mine at Jabal Sayid with Barrick. And we've recently announced a partnership with Ivanhoe Electric for our exploration program. So we are very keen to partner with the best in the world to bring in talent and technology to help us grow and develop. So that's part of our model.
Okay, how do those relationships actually work? Partnerships are not always easy. They take a lot of maintenance, and every organization has a different culture. How do you find managing that challenge?
Well, I think we are trying to take the best of all of our partnerships and create a modern operating system. Quite frankly, the company's so young and grew so fast over the last decade or so that we had 3 or 4 different cultures running. So, you know, the aluminum culture felt like Alcoa. The phosphate culture felt like Mosaic or Sabic. So we're trying to take the best of all those partnerships and combine it into a modern operating system so that it's one language, one set of KPIs, a standard approach.
Okay, and also in the previous interview that we did, we talked about the Public Investment Fund joint venture that was announced at the Future Minerals Forum earlier this year. I'm really interested in Maadens' role both as an investment advisor for that, and then practically, will Maadens have a JV role in some of these assets that are located internationally, dotted around the globe?
Right. Yeah. So the basic premise is, as Maadens stands up an exploration program that will unearth whatever potential exists in the kingdom also wants to build downstream industries around things that may not be found here, or if they are found here, they won't be found in time to develop the resources around it. For instance, we want to become an electric vehicle battery hub. So therefore, obviously, we need EV minerals. So the kingdom established a mandate with the PIF, and then the PIF enlisted us because of our mining expertise to partner with them to go out and scour the globe looking for assets that we can invest in, take equity positions in that include an offtake. Now there's a broad range of investment thesis we have. We want to make sure it's, you know, risk appropriate. We want to diversify it across geographies, across minerals. We don't want to have too much concentration in any one asset, but the basic premise is we will deploy capital over the next 3 or 4 years with offtake coming into the kingdom as soon as this year, early next, to start standing up some of these industries that are needed to diversify the economy.
Okay. As you've developed within Saudi Arabia, partnership has been a key pillar of that growth and that expansion. Is that something that you'll be looking to do within that structure with the PIF as you partner on different projects to get that offtake? Will you be taking an active role in terms of development as well? And what kind of approach and structure are you taking to those kind of relationships?
You know, right now, since we're looking at only minority stakes, it's probably not a typical partnership joint venture. Certainly, we're going to take ownership positions, have seats on boards, and have influence. But I wouldn't say this would be a typical partnership necessarily with Maadens. But with broader Saudi Inc., the partnerships would be there, because one of the things we're looking for is, as we invest in upstream assets, we're looking for people that develop midstream and downstream processing plants to put them here. So the partnership would more likely be with Saudi Inc. necessarily than Maadens, if that makes sense.
Okay, it does make sense, yeah. So essentially, you're in there for your mining expertise. It's more of an advisory capacity. I'd imagine if they're particularly early stage assets, there may be an opportunity to become an operator globally, but really it's about consulting and providing that expertise.
Right. When we want to have access to deal flow, because at some point we're going to be ready for a transformational transaction as well. So, we want to be in the mix. We want to be in the conversation. Okay,
and what kind of, if you can reveal these kind of plans, when that terms of that transformational transaction, what does that look like in your head in an ideal scenario, and what kind of timing are you speculatively looking at?
I wouldn't want to assume that's going to happen anytime soon, because our key mandate right now is development in the kingdom. We've got a 10x growth plan to build out our existing phosphate, aluminum, and gold businesses, as well as explore the potential of the kingdom. So we're very internally focused now, but we also know that we can't be a mining champion and a global player with only one jurisdiction. So, down the line, I would expect that we'll be looking at inorganic growth across the world, but right now it's domestically focused.
Okay, when we're looking at the super region and taking that internal focus and then the advisory capacity that you're working in joint venture with the PIF under at the moment, are there certain parts of the super region that we've identified there that look really attractive to you, that you're targeting first, or you're expecting to see great results from?
I think we said we wanted to focus on the super region where we have logistical advantages, but we also have geopolitical advantages with traditional countries that are friendly with Saudi Arabia. But that doesn't prohibit us from looking globally, in the Americas or someplace else. So while we want to be close logistically, where we have traditional ties, G2G relationships, there's nothing that says we're not looking in Latin America, North America, elsewhere.
It's a huge remit to cover, Bob. How do you manage to actually to do the analysis and to run the comb over that much geography?
Well, we've actually, the joint venture is stood up, and it's called Monera Minerals now, and it's got its own investment analyst. We're standing up the office, so it's a standalone separate company that's their full-time job. While we're running Maadens, we're also keeping an eye on Monera.
Well, that's all we've got time for today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely, thank you.